Hey y'all, so I'm getting ready right now. I don't know if this video is going to be like a day in my life or like a weekend in my life. Today is Saturday and I'm planning on doing a week in my life this upcoming week because I go back to school. So I'll probably just keep this as a day in my life. That way it doesn't get draining, because if I'm vlogging like, you know, this weekend and then the entire week, that's going to become a lot. So we'll probably just keep this as a day in my life.
I always feel like somebody's watching me. You can't do this. Look, you can't do this.
It is 2:08 right now and I'm about to do my quiet time. Caleb actually slept in my room last night, so I slept in this morning and it was so nice. I have not got that good of a sleep in such a long time. It was much needed, but I'm about to just dive into the word. I think I'm either on Numbers chapter 5 or 6. I can't remember. To make a post for my Bible account. I'm kind of just taking everyone along with me as I go throughout the Bible, and so I'm doing like these chapter reviews and stuff like that. And so I did more of like an in-depth one on Genesis, and next I need to do Exodus. Obviously right now I'm in Numbers, but I'm kind of a little bit behind on my Bible account because I'm also posting like other things that come to my mind and things that I want to share and things that I'm learning. And like, as I said, I just am so happy with the direction that my Bible account is going in. Like, I've never been this happy with it, and I feel like that energy is also getting reciprocated, and like just the feedback that I've been getting is just so wonderful and amazing. A lot of y'all have been asking me like what presets and stuff I use for the pictures on my Bible account, and the main one that I use like most often is from Mama Shock. She's an Instagrammer, and I don't think that she has this preset anymore. During the time that I followed her, she did like a preset giveaway for free, and so like it doesn't have a name or anything like that, but it was in the link in her bio. It's not there anymore, so I'm sorry about that. But I do use two other filters, and those are Chai and Nutmeg from Ali M Boss, also on Instagram. I will link those in the description box because her presets are amazing. They're literally only $4 to $6. Like, they're pretty inexpensive because I'm not paying like, you know, 10, 15, or even some people pay $75 for a preset like that. I'm not doing that. I can find another preset some other way, but hers are very inexpensive. And then if I'm really feeling like basic or whatever, I'll just use the filters that are like on your actual camera. And I'm currently going through like this black and white phase with all of my photos. I don't know what it is about black and white, but it just, there's something about it. It's like chef's kiss. Like, I love it so much. I need to do some laundry again, and I really want to get these blankets washed. I just love having fresh blankets to sleep on. And also like right before you go to bed, like, do you guys ever just like warm up your blankets? It's like the best feeling ever. And it's been super cold. I think the high is 47 today and then the low is 20, so like we're getting into those colder months, and it might as well snow. Like, if we're gonna have this weather, I'm like, where is the snow? And it's not like school or anything that get canceled for me because I do online school, but even just like the thought of having snow would be so comforting, and I just really want it. I have my laundry basket right here, and y'all know I usually wash my clothes on Sundays. Today is Saturday, but my mom has kind of been like washing my clothes with like the regular household laundry throughout the week, and so I haven't had to wait to Sunday to do that. And so most of my clothes are already washed. I don't have like that much stuff in here, but I do need to check my parents' room because I know that they have like a lot of my clothes in there, and I do not have like a lot of stuff in my dresser. Yeah, I gotta go look for those. That way I can have like some of the clothes and stuff that I need. I think I'll probably do like maybe one wash. I usually have a lot of blacks and blues that I can wash, but I think the main focus of my laundry today will just be those blankets. Also, here's the outfit for today. It's giving me major I just came off of the prairie vibes. It's like I'm the Black Laura Ingalls, like that's what you guys can call me. And I have the fancy lemon pepper steppers. Y'all already know what it is. But this outfit is really amazing because I love my locust dresses. You guys already know that. And I wanted to find kind of like a way that I could wear them in the winter, and Pinterest was my best friend in this case. I was like, you can just wear it with a sweater. This sweater is from H&M. I seriously love that store so much. Like, if you are looking to get me a gift card to like somewhere where you shop, get one from H&M because I just love it so much. H&M is one of those places where like we don't tell H&M what we want. H&M tells us what we want, and that's why I spend so much money there. The actual dress itself is from Ross, and it's actually kind of too big for me. This is a small, and I'm usually more of like an extra small in dresses. I lost so much weight, it's not even funny. I was a size 4 in jeans, and now I'm a 0-0, and I can barely fit like any of the ones that I have in my dresser. I only have like one pair that actually like fits me, and like ever since I was younger and stuff like that, it's always been hard to find pants that'll like fit around the waist and stuff like that. But now that I've like lost weight, it is really hard to find pants that just fit perfectly. I will say H&M and Old Navy have some of the best jeans, and I also get some of my dresses from Old Navy too. I know a few of y'all were asking me like, oh, where was that dress from in the morning routine? Old Navy. And the only thing about Old Navy though, like getting dresses and stuff from that, is that everyone shops there in Target, and so someone is gonna have that print. But if you get a dress from like TJ Maxx or like Marshalls or something, it's really rare that someone's gonna just have that dress again. So it's kind of like a hidden gem, and nobody else can have the clothes that you wear. Even if it's like the same style and stuff like that, you can at least keep like something for yourself. I really want to have a pamper night tonight. What do you guys think? Alright, great. We'll have a pamper night then. I really appreciate y'all's input. I'm getting some afternoon coffee because I didn't have any this morning, and I'm starting to have some coffee withdrawals. My addiction is pretty bad, and I sound like every teenage girl ever. And I mean, I only drink a cup a day, so I guess it's not like that bad, but I look forward to my coffee in the morning. This is the Vanilla International Delight iced coffee, and it's already made, and it is so amazing. They also have caramel macchiato. I tried the mocha too, but I'm not really that big of a fan of like their specific mocha because it just tasted like iced hot chocolate, if that makes sense. The vanilla one is so good. It's honestly like a drink, and it's just amazing. I also made some cupcakes yesterday. They're vanilla, and I'm usually not that big of a fan of like cakey things other than cheesecake. Like, I can already tell you guys, at my wedding I'm not having regular cake, I'm having cheesecake. But like these cupcakes, they are so moist and delicious, and I love them so much. And I actually made 2 batches of cupcakes, but I completely forgot that the bottom rack of our oven cooks faster than the top rack, and I was doing dishes and like cleaning the kitchen, and I was listening to country music, so you know, I was like in another world. And then over there, the bottom rack of the cupcakes are just burning. It's okay, I was able to save the top rack, and I think there is like 12 cupcakes or something in them, and they're very good. Speaking of the kitchen, I just realized that I did not do my chores this morning, so I need to unload the dishwasher, and then I also need to wash the dishes that are in the actual sink. I actually really like doing the dishes. I mean, sometimes I just have those days where I've washed so many dishes and I'm like, I cannot look at any more. Like, if I do, I'm gonna go crazy. But the kitchen is just a wonderful place, and I wish that more people would actually enjoy being in the kitchen because it's so fun. And like, I just turn on my music and suddenly I'm on a farm in the country, and I'm just on a porch or something like that. I just got my trash because this thing was overflowing, and of course, what do you know, the big trash for downstairs is also full too, so I'm gonna have to take that out. And I am like the weakest person ever. Y'all, I was a soccer player. I literally cannot do anything with my hands. I have chicken arms. They're like, I'm literally a stick, so taking out the trash is not the easiest thing for me. No, but for real, I have to like put my whole body into like actually getting the trash into the trash can. This is why God made man, because I am woman.
Tonight I found something here with you. Running by the roadside, wait up for me. I'd go anywhere that you do. Put it all out in the open. No, we don't have to control it. Put it all out in the open. If it's only for a moment, it's a lifetime of emotion.
Okay, so I didn't have enough clothes to actually start a load, but I did gather all of the clothes from my parents' room, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fold these up. I'm actually happy because I thought that there was gonna be more clothes and there's not, and I'm not that big of a fan of doing laundry, so it kind of works out in my favor.
Never look back to the ocean. Still know you'll meet me at home. When I'm lost and out of focus and we don't know where the road is, I still know you'll meet me at home. Meet me at home. When I can't decide and the fear leads me blind, you always will lead me through. If you need me at the wrong time.
extra generous today, so we can all have a sleepover, and don't worry, I have so many blankets so you guys won't get cold. Okay, let me get y'all hooked on some stuff because I'm about to take a bath and I will need some privacy for that. But y'all know I always talk about the Dr. Teal soap. Like, I hype that up as if there's no tomorrow. And I also had showed you guys that one sugar scrub that I'm using, but this one, guys, I don't even know where to begin because this smells so good. So it's in the scent of Moroccan rose, and like, to me, the only way that I could describe it, and y'all won't understand because you like never met my grandma, but like, this smells exactly like my grandma. It's just such a distinct smell, but it's like a very, very nice smell, and I just love putting it on before bed. It just makes me feel so fresh and clean, and like, it gets off all of like the dead skin, everything, and it is so amazing. Speaking of dead skin, my skin has been so dry recently because it's just so cold, and two things that I cannot stand more than like anything is dry skin and dry lips. First of all, dry skin is going to make you so itchy, and that's just uncomfortable. And dry lips, like, we're not about to be ashy up in here, and so my solution is baby oil and lotion. The thing about baby oil is that if you only put this on, you're gonna look like your mama slathered all that stuff back on you like you're in 3rd grade or something again for the first day of school pictures. If you're black, you know exactly what I mean, because they were not letting us go to school looking ashy. So what do, I mix it with lotion, and it kind of like evens it out, so that way you can still be moisturized but not like looking as though you're a star or something like that. I'm also gonna shave. I do not care that it's winter. I do not like having hairy legs or being hairy at all, and it's just like a personal preference, but for me, I do not like it. I got this new shaving cream. It's from Target. It says it's the Smartly Shave Foam, and it smells like the ocean. I've used this once before and it does the job. The thing about me though is, like I said, I just have such sensitive skin, so I have to be really careful with the products that I use. Even when it comes to like deodorant and stuff, I'm using the Suave powder one, and this one, it's not that strong. I'm not that big of a fan of like the powder smell, so when I go back to the store, I'm probably gonna get a different one, but this is like one of the only brands that does not break me out, because I had once tried the Arm & Hammer natural deodorant, and I cannot even begin to explain how bad that broke me out. Like, how do you even break out on your armpits? That is so gross. But yeah, it was really horrible. And then the styes, I honestly think that a stye kind of just lives on my left eye, and it's always this eye. I don't know why. Ever since I've been younger, it's always been this eye that I'll get a stye on, and so I'm like, do I just need to like do a tea bag every night? Like, does that need to be a nightly ritual? The earliest memory of getting a stye that I remember is one time I was in kindergarten, and I had such a big stye on my eye that my teacher literally put a band-aid on my eye, and I had to walk around school with a band-aid. Like, I'm not even joking. There's the eyebrows, as y'all know, break out whenever I get those waxed, but I honestly, I cannot go another like 3-4 months without getting them waxed because it makes such a difference. Yeah, I hate having sensitive skin. It sucks a lot. I think the main thing out of this little segment that I'm trying to show you guys is, like, when we go to bed, you're literally going to like sweat in the night and stuff like that, and personally for me, I just like to go to bed feeling fresh, feeling my best, because I feel like it can kind of eliminate some of that funk if you actually try the night before to smell good. So that's my philosophy. Let's see what pajamas we should wear. Also, oh my gosh, are you guys okay? Let me protect my children. I have like all my YouTube stuff right here, so how lovely. That's the reality of my life. Don't fall. Okay. So here's my pajama drawer. I have a lot of pajamas. My collection is coming together. I don't know what I should wear though, because it's like really cold and I don't want to be cold at night. So today I wore the pink pajama pants, and I need to get more pajama pants because the other ones I have are like shorts and stuff. Okay, I have another nightgown too. Honestly, with this one, I feel like somebody shrunk this nightgown, like by putting it in the dryer, because it was kind of short on me, and I was like, this ain't modesty times 1,000. I mean, I can still wear it with leggings, but it definitely is like an inch or two shorter than when I bought it, and I noticed. I think I might wear these, but if I get cold, I can just put a sweatshirt over it. I have these pants, and then I have some sweats too, but those ones are cuter. Welcome to the floor of my bathroom. I've got the goods, everything that I need to paint my toes, and I'm also going to be answering some of y'all's questions and assumptions that you guys asked me on my Bible account, so this should be fun and interesting. You guys hear noise in the background. Caleb is watching Family Matters and he's like cracking up. First one says, favorite book besides the Bible. That's a hard one because I don't think I can really choose favorites. Like, I love too many things. If I could give you like just like some of the top books that I like, I'd probably say the first Anne of Green Gables book out of the series. That one is just unmatched. Nothing compares to it. It is so good. Also really like The Masterpiece by Francine Rivers, and hear me out, like I am very iffy about a lot of her books, especially in terms of like young Christian women, and like her books are Christian romance books. I was so iffy about it that I literally went on a whole tangent about this on my Bible account. I don't have the post up anymore, it's archived, but I do have like a lot of the stuff I was talking about in my highlights, so you guys can go check it out. I don't remember which highlight it's in, but I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, The Masterpiece was super good. I really enjoyed that book, and there was another one too, like the Mother series was really good. There were some things about that series that I was just like, I don't really like this, but for the most part, like The Masterpiece, if I did recommend a Francine Rivers book, it would be that, like above Redeeming Love or anything else. Also, the Redeeming Love trailer, I was like, that's kind of suspicious. But anyway, so some other books I really like, Me Before You. The movie, I literally have the movie on DVD too, because like that's how good it is. That series was really nice. The Romantics by, I forgot the author, but that one I remember staying up so late to finish it, and it was just like Sleepless in Seattle in the sense of like, well, I don't want to spoil it, but like where the guy gets the girl in the end, and it was just so sweet. The Selection series is also really good. I know that's like so middle school, but I don't care. I reread that series like 3 times because that's how much I love it. Prayers of a God Chaser, that one, oh, I love that book. I will talk about that book so many times. A Walk to Remember by Nicholas Sparks. I love the book and I love the movie. Let Me Be a Woman by Elizabeth Elliot was also very good and very helpful, and I feel like it had changed my mind on so many things, and like I said, it really helped me in terms of like figuring out what my calling is as a woman. Christy asked me what is my favorite type of cheese. White American. Can I open this? Hold on. I know why. I have oil on my hands. I'm struggling to open this nail polish because I just lathered my body with oil and lotion, and now I can't get it open. Oh my gosh. Can somebody open this for me? Just like come to my house real quick. Well, don't actually come to my house. That'd be scary, but oh my gosh. Ugh. Okay. This is not working. This is very disrespectful. I got it. Here's an assumption. Somebody said you have been baptized. Yes, I have. I was baptized when I was 13, so when I was in 8th grade. And like a part of me, I'm always really hard on myself and stuff, and I try to remember to like give myself grace and remember that in terms of faith, like I said, it's always going to be a journey. A part of me wishes that I would have waited to get baptized, but at the same time, I think it was okay for me to get baptized. I mean, it was 13. I feel like that's kind of like a common age to get baptized. I just wish that I would have waited for like a little bit more knowledge and like a little bit. I definitely have the heart for God. I think I don't know. If it were me now, I would have said just hold off on it a little bit. I don't know if that makes sense, but like what I'm trying to say is like I definitely had the heart for God, but I had a lot of growing to do at the same time, and just looking at myself in middle school compared to my high school self, I'm not even the same girl. So that's kind of where I look at it in terms of that. How do you stay consistent in the word on days when you don't feel like it? So with this question, key word is when you don't feel like it. Honestly, we're probably not always going to feel like reading our Bibles and being with God, but you really have to deny yourself and ask yourself if you do want to be transformed by the word of God. And to do that, if you want to be used, you actually have to put in the work to do that. And it's not always going to be easy, but this is like a life or death matter. I was listening to a Paul Washer sermon, and like what he was saying is that this life, it is fleeting, and there are so many things that we can really just put ourselves in the world. And yeah, your desires might be fulfilled for some amount of time, but the Lord is going to give you that eternal joy and that eternal happiness that you're looking for. And so if you always rely on like what your flesh is feeling, then you're probably not going to actually want to get with God. Next question says, when did you become a Christian? So I grew up in a Christian household. I was definitely one of those Christians where like I went to church every single Sunday. I went to vacation Bible school, everything like that. Growing up, I will say we have definitely like always church talk and stuff like that. When I was little, I remember going to one church, and now I will say it's a mega church, and I'm not sure about their theology because when I was there, I was very young. But I know it's like a mega church, and I probably wouldn't agree with the theology if I'm being honest. Just from like who the pastor is, I can tell it's not really like my style per se. But I remember when I was little, I used to hate going to that church so much. One, it was in a different county than I actually lived in, and like when you're little, all you really care about is like friends and stuff like that. And I didn't have any friends at that church, and you would just go into like this big like place, like this big room, and then you'd hear like a message or whatever, and then you just get sent home. And I just feel like it just wasn't fun for me at the time. And it's not that church should be fun, but like I was a kid at the time, so that's what I cared about. After that, we eventually left that church and we went to a few more churches, but it wasn't until 6th grade that we started going to this one church consistently. And same thing with that church, it is a mega church. It's very well known, and I will say with this one, I went there from 6th grade all the way up until 9th grade, and I can tell you guys, the theology and the doctrine at that church is not sound whatsoever. It's definitely a seeker-friendly church, and it promotes the feel-good gospel and the feel-good messages and everything of that sort. And it was just very questionable, like a lot of the things that the pastor was teaching. When it comes to seeker-friendly churches and stuff like that, one thing that I try to tell people is that those churches are going to get you in the word, but it's not necessarily going to help you to stay in the word and to help you to grow in your relationship and your faith. And I feel like that's the biggest thing that I learned from being at that church for so long. And don't get me wrong, like it was really nice at first. It was known as like being a very fun church, so to say, and that church was actually like where I lived at the time, and so I had a lot of friends there from my school. We would go on retreats, like all this really fun stuff. You get donuts, there was all the lights, and I'm not saying that that is bad, but there were so many distractions at that church. And I would say like 6th grade was really good. I had a very good small group, and that's the thing, like I'm not trying to just like rat on this church, but I think you do have to be honest when you're saying like there's good in it, but there was also a lot of bad that did contribute to my walk with God. So the small group aspect was good. I will say, like, it's funny how they call it small groups though, because you're really not in a small group. You're in a group with like 30 other girls, and most of them are going to be from your school and stuff like that. So it's, you know, people you know. In 6th grade, it was very fun. We would go on outings, and like I still talk to some of those people, not a lot, but I still talk to like some of them and follow them on Instagram and stuff. We took a break from church in 7th grade, and then in 8th grade we went back to that church, and that is the year that I went on a church retreat. And I will say, like, it was a very good experience. I really enjoyed the church retreat, and I really miss being on those. I definitely learned a lot, and I had a lot of intimate experiences with God and just like with my small group and stuff, and we were able to get very close, and that is kind of what kick-started my decision to want to get baptized. I think the game changer was honestly 9th grade. That was, I think, the 2019 through 2020 year, and so that year so much happened. I transferred schools. Well, let me backtrack for a second. So I originally thought that I was going to be going to this one public school that like my best friend went to, and so because of that, me and her, we changed small groups, and so we had a new group, and we had been with the same group since middle school, so changing small groups was like a very big deal. So yeah, I obviously didn't end up going to that public school. I switched halfway in between like the semesters and stuff like that, and I ended up going to a private Christian school. And same thing with that school, like there was a lot of good in the school, but there was also like, I wouldn't necessarily say that there was bad. It just, for me, it wasn't, I really liked the school, but I don't think that it was just a fit for me. And sometimes you have to actually go somewhere and like be in the environment to see that. I really love the private school uniforms, and I think my favorite part about that school was having chapel on Fridays. Like I used to look forward to like getting out of class, and we'd always have chapel in the mornings and worship and everything like that, and it was just so fun. One thing I did learn in terms of the private Christian school is that just because something has the label of Christian, it doesn't mean that everyone there is just going to be like strong in their faith, and that's nothing like to shame anyone's walk. I think we were all very young at the time, and so you're still like going to be learning and stuff like that, and everyone's at different places in their walk, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be per se. On top of going to a new school, we were also in the process of moving, and most of 9th grade we spent living at my grandpa's house while this house was getting built. You can just kind of imagine it like beginning of 2020. I had just moved into this house. I just had moved into a new small group, and I think in 9th grade, that was when I realized that a lot of people weren't there at the church for the right reasons. It had always been printed as a party church, and I was like, this isn't a party church, like we're actually learning so much. But then I realized a lot of girls were just going to get dinner, number one, and to post pictures on their VSCO accounts, because it is a very fun church, but you should be there to, you know, honor and worship and praise God. I'm not going to go too much into everything, because there's this saying like what's said in small group stays in small group, but I remember it would usually just be me, this other girl, and my best friend who would be like the only ones talking, and that's like 3 girls out of 30 in a group. And I remember like sitting down one time in the small group, and I was like, I'm not getting anything from this church, and I'm never gonna get anything from this church. And that was the moment when I knew that it wasn't right for me. So it was kind of like a revelation, so to say. The best thing about that small group is that there was one woman, one of our small group leaders, who I would say is a Titus 2 woman. She was such an amazing example of what it looks like for older women to help out the younger women and to lead us to Christ. And she was just a blessing in my life. And you know, she was only in my life for like a short amount of time, but she did so much, and so I'm really thankful for her. But kind of after that, COVID was ushered in, and we started doing like online Bible studies, and that's when you really were able to see like who was coming to those and who was actually invested and who wanted to learn more. And not a lot of people came, and I was like, okay, I really don't want to be in this environment anymore. In 2020, that's really when I started reading the Bible for the first time. I started actually like getting into the word myself, which is something that I had never done. Like, of course, I'd, you know, grown up doing devotionals and I'd read like different passages, but this was the first year that I read the Bible cover to cover, Genesis all the way up until Revelation, and I did it in a year, and I think it was really helpful for me. And I will say in 2020, I definitely still was very in my feel-good stage, and I mean, it was all I had ever known. Like, those were the types of churches that I had grown up in, was like more of a seeker-friendly or prosperity gospel, like those types of things was what I was used to. And so, like, of course, I was going to fall into that. But one thing that really helped me was, I think, just social media and even the American Gospel documentary. I talk about that so much, but that is definitely one of the better things about the internet, is that it can introduce you into things such as like, you know, sound doctrine and apologetics and theology and everything of that sort. And it can also introduce you into a lot of false teaching as well, so it's just a balance. I started my Bible account also in 2020, and then 2021 was a lot of learning. I learned a lot about apologetics and theology, and it was really good in that sense, because I do think a part of Christianity is having knowledge, but like I said, knowledge isn't everything in terms of our faith walks. And so currently where I'm at right now is just trying to make sure that I also have a heart for God. I'm really working on my womanhood and the person that I want to be, and I definitely don't feel like I'm close to being where I'm at, but I see that God is working on me, as I said in the last video, and it really is amazing to see that happening and to see how I'm growing and to see how he's giving me this heart for him. That's kind of like a very fast rundown of my testimony, but I guess the main thing that I could tell you guys is, even if you don't have like this crazy coming to Christ story, because that was one very good thing that I talked about in my baptism video, was like I was very afraid to get baptized or to get saved, because I had only seen baptism videos of people who had like this, you know, they were from atheism to Christianity or things like that. And I didn't have that. I was always in a Christian household, but that doesn't mean that your testimony isn't, you know, valuable. Probably make like more of an in-depth and like thought out video on my testimony, that way you guys can hear it, but that was like the lowdown of everything. Asked if I have a cat. No, I don't have a cat. I'm not really an animal person. I've never really been an animal person. I didn't grow up with pets, and so I feel like it's always been a little bit different for me. And I think the thing with me is like I want to like animals, but I'm also like terrified of them, so it makes it hard for me to actually like them. I think with me and like animals, I just have so many like traumatic experiences. So when it comes to cats, I used to have these friends and we would have like sleepovers or whatever, and at their parents' house they had 3 cats, and then their grandma, who I also used to sleep over at their grandma's house like all the time, they had 6 cats. So what do you know, little Sierra, who was much bolder than my current self, literally picked up that cat, and what did it do? It peed on me. That was like my first experience with a cat, and after that I was like, no, I'm not about that. When it comes to dogs, dogs are literally my biggest fear. Like I said, I want to like them. I want to be a dog person. I have so many images of my head of me walking in a field with a golden shepherd. Like I feel like that would just be so cool. But then I think about all the times that I've been chased by dogs and all of like the ringworm and stuff, because I literally cannot go around a dog without getting ringworm, and so it's just not very pretty. A lot of my friends also have like very big dogs too. We have one family friend and they have like a pretty big dog, but theirs is like very well behaved and stuff like that, and that one doesn't bother me at all. But then like when it comes to my friends, they have like pit bulls and boxers, and one of my friends, she's like my childhood friends, we've been friends for a long time, but whenever I go out to California and stuff, we'll always have sleepovers because we live literally across the country from each other. And so I was at her house one day and she literally named her dog, I don't know what type of dog it is, it's either a pit bull or a boxer, she named her dog after me. Like her dog is named Cece, and that thing is so scary. So we're having a sleepover, right? Let me paint a little picture for you guys. We're having a sleepover and we decided to sleep in like their living room. They have a loft upstairs, so it's like you go up and then the whole upstairs is like a loft, and it's kind of like a square. And so we decided to sleep in the living room because she had a twin bed, so like obviously we're not gonna fit on that. And so the dog was in like a cage and the couch is over here, and so we slept very well throughout the night. But I woke up right the next morning and I go to get my phone and use the bathroom and all that stuff, and I come back and the dog has left its cage. And so what happens? It chases me. I just remember thinking that I was gonna die in that moment, and she was literally, my friend, she was sleeping the whole time. Like she was knocked out, and I'm over here running for my life, and her brother, He's a little bit older than us. I think in the time, this is 6th grade, and I think her brother was in college. He ran up the stairs and he got the dog for me, thankfully, and she woke up when he came up, but I was traumatized by that, and I also got ringworm. And then my other friend Anna, I don't know if you guys remember her, we used to like make videos together all the time. Her dog Toby is also a really big dog. Am I running out of time on this? Hold on, because I talk so much. No, my battery's gonna die, dang it. You know, it always comes back to this, me and the phone, because this camera just, she gives up on me, y'all. But I think, where were we at? We were talking about Toby, Anna's dog. So Anna, she has that dog, and she also has some cats too. And I always tell her, like, every time I sleep over at her house, I'm like, girl, like, I cannot sleep if the animals are in here. Like, I will literally freak out if I wake up and a cat is on my face. So her dog, I don't know what type of dog it is, but it's definitely very big. You can look back if you go to, like, it had to be 2 years ago, but there's a weekend in my life, and you can see her dog in that video. It's very big. But I remember I had woke up. Why is it always when I wake up? It's like I wake up and the dogs just want to terrorize me. But I woke up and I opened the door, and her dog is just sitting there, like at the foot of her door. And I remember, like, I just blacked out in that moment, and I just slammed the door in the dog's face. And after that, like a few days later, the dog chased me, and it was horrid. And then Brie, I think you guys might remember her from my weekend in my life video. It was like a few months ago, but she's one of my friends from soccer, one of the few friends that I've actually, you know, stayed in contact with and stuff like that. But her dog Britta is like, it's not a huge dog, but like it's decently big and stuff like that. And so we had came in, I think from dinner or something like that, and the dog just charged at me. It was so scary, and I just remember screaming, and I literally ran out of the house. Like, that's how scared I was. All in all, like, I want to like dogs, I really do, but I think it would take a miracle for me to actually like them. Like, I would have to go through some intense mental training to want to be around dogs, because my natural instinct is just to run. Like, that's what I think of when I hear a dog. I'm like, okay, this thing is gonna come charging at me. The idea of it is cool. It's just I'm not an animal person. I want to be, but I'm kind of not. I did have a fish though when I was little. His name was Goldie, and I remember, like, I used to love that thing. Like, that was my prized possession. And when I was little, I used to go to my grandpa's house like all the time on the weekends and stuff like that, and I'd sleep over. And my uncle at the time, he was in high school, and so like I used to love hanging out with him. Thought he was so cool. Not saying that he's not cool anymore, but like, you know, like when you're a kid, like you just want to be like with the big kids too. So I had went to my papa's house for the weekend, and I had cleaned out like my fish tank, everything like that, and I come back home like a few days later, and there's so much poop in the fish tank. And so my mom and I had to clean it out, and as we were cleaning it out, the fish literally fell out of its tank and it died. It was such a sad funeral. It lived a very good life. And speaking of fish funerals, I feel like almost every child has probably gone through that. But there's this video, Anna, if you're watching this, I don't know if she watches my videos, but if you're watching this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's this video on YouTube. It's so funny. It's this little girl, and she's giving like her fish a funeral or whatever, and she was crying and stuff like that. And by crying, I mean like she was screaming, like screaming. It was so funny. But as she was crying and stuff, she was singing a Fetty Wap song, and like I do not encourage a little kid to be singing that, but it was so funny. She's just like, her fish is like swirling around in the toilet, and she's like, I'm like, yeah, she's fine, wondering if she'll be mine. It's just like the funniest video ever. And like when she starts screaming, that is when it gets me. So search that up, it's hilarious. Like I said, I don't encourage a little kid to be singing that song, but the video was funny. Right, we're just gonna have to deal with the phone quality for now, since my camera died. Say hi, buddy.
Hi, we're watching Full House.
Yes, we are. I'm gonna go get us a snack, and then I'm gonna do my nighttime quiet routine. I got like this wave of tiredness over me, and I just want to sleep now.
You were knocked out yesterday night.
Yes, I was. I
So
slept
was
so
I.
good, and I had a good dream too, so it's good.
Because whenever I'm in Sissy's room, we'll like get a snack. Like we always get a snack before
always
like
get a
we
snack.
go to bed or do anything.
Yes, we do.
Do you want it? I want some string cheese and beef and cheese.
Beef and you already had beef and cheese
Okay,
today.
then string cheese.
Okay. String cheese for Caleb, and this is like literally what I do every single night. I actually got a few things from the store. Some vanilla ice cream. You guys know I love that. Cantaloupe, goldfish, all the goods. But tonight oh my gosh, I also have cupcakes. Oh my gosh, do I want to get a cupcake? No, I should just stick with the yogurt. Okay, I'll get the yogurt. We have chocolate chips and granola. Could it get better than that? Okay, let's not drop this. See, this is why I'm saving this content quality for the end of the video, the iPhone quality. Those cupcakes are seriously so good. They're like, it's just the right amount of sweet, and I love it. I will say I really enjoyed my quiet time this morning. Well, it wasn't really this morning. I did it at like 2, but it was very nice. Like, I wasn't distracted, and I also had like a lot of time to worship God, and it was just amazing. And I just really praise him for those moments that I don't get distracted and that I can just focus on him alone, because that's what I'm working on right now. So we take the beautiful vanilla cup, and if we can actually get it open, maybe I could show you guys what I'm trying to do. Okay, so we're going to get the chocolate chips. These are probably semi-sweet, I think. That's a lot. One fell. I'll eat it. I don't think I've had granola in a while. I feel so bougie and fancy with this. Alright, so I'm about to wind down for bed. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all in the next one.